It's time for All Things Rangers Bar Talk. This is where we have our confidence gauged by what we need to drink. Do we need a shot? We're going to just have a beer and chill, or we're just buying everybody around. This is a game we hope it'll take America by storm. Oh, sorry, what, Joe?
I said I like the name Bar Talk. It's simple. It's effective to the point. I like it.
Now I got the name down. It only took a month. The most exciting division race is in the East. Anthony, we'll start with you.
I'm actually going to say no. I'm going to say it's the Central, Florida, Carolina, and why am I drawing a blank on the Tampa? And I only say that because I guess you could say the East they're separated by the same amount of points too. I just think in the Central it's a little. Do all three have 58 points?
In the Central, yeah, I believe they do.
Yeah, they all got 58, and I think the only difference is games played.
Yeah, okay, so exactly. They all 58, so and they're all good teams. I think each team has a claim to say they're going to win that division. I think they're all different teams. I think Tampa Bay, of course, is the best goaltender with Vasilevsky. I think he's the best goalie in the league. Then you have a team like Carolina, who by name their goaltenders aren't good, Mrazek and Nedovic, but if you look at them, their numbers are good, and they have a deep team defensively. And then you have a team like Florida, who's run by Barkov and Huberdeau, and they were getting performances from Carter Verhaeghe, although he's out now, which is going to be a big blow for them. He's having a good year, but that division's really, really close, man. I think I could see either one of those three teams winning it. Whereas in the East, Boston's not going to win it. And I know, Mark, Pittsburgh's your choice, but I don't see them. I think it's going to be the Islanders and the Capitals. So for me, that's why I see any of those three teams winning it. So I'm going to
just literally laid it out for me because I think those two divisions are just
go with the Central.
I'm going to say shot on this one, and Anthony, it's interesting because there's more teams in it. I think there's real good quality teams, and I don't see your Pittsburgh prediction coming to life, Mark, unfortunately. So, thankfully,
it's okay. I've been wrong before.
Thankfully, you did not make any bets with anybody that you'd have to chug any large amounts of alcohol because we might have to put you in the hospital after that one.
This is so difficult because I'm actually just going to go with beer, not the shot, but the beer, because. You realize, I think, if whoever wins one of these divisions is probably going to end up winning the President's Trophy. And they're doing this versus teams that are comparable. Even if the Penguins aren't as good as the Capitals or the Islanders, they're still right there, and their schedule says, all right, well, we're going to be just as good. And Florida, the turnaround in Florida is great. And by the way, about time, that city deserves it. The actual fans instead of just being a tourist attraction for road fans. But Joel Quenneville's done a great job. Rod Brind'Amour is doing a great job in Carolina. And then I didn't even mention the two-horse race that's in the West. And if Winnipeg can kind of get back in there, I mean, the North can be something, but that still looks like it's going to be Toronto's. We'll get to them in a minute. But it's not necessarily not the East, but it's also not just the Central. That's where the hard part is. You guys laid out two good arguments, but wow, this is going to be a good last month for the NHL. So, I said just now, we'll get back to Toronto. Auston Matthews has a claim to the Hart Trophy this year. John,
very tiny one because Connor McDavid is running away with that thing. Connor McDavid, if he has another one of his games where he just goes off for 4 or 5 points, he's going to be on pace for 100 points again. So, I mean, if Connor McDavid ends up scoring 100 points in a 56-game season, I do not give a rat's ass what else happens. I don't care if he misses the playoffs. If he scores 100 points in a 56-game season, they miss the playoffs, he better damn well win that Hart Trophy. Because you take that player away from that team, and I don't know what they're doing because Leon Draisaitl is not he's not scoring 100 points on his own without someone like Connor McDavid on that power play with him. So, no.
That's a shot. Miguel.
Shot.
I'm gonna go beer on that because I think the guy. It's conceivable he could score like 40 goals this season, and in a shortened season like this, it's pretty amazing. But what John said, I think McDavid's just having too good of a year. I think it's his to lose unless something drastic happened. I don't see anybody else wing it other than McDavid. And also too, you can make the case that Toronto has other aspects of their game, like Mitch Marner. Even though Tavares is having a real down year for his standards, he's there. You have Nylander. I just think Edmonton has less. Yeah, he has Draisaitl, but after Draisaitl, they don't have much. So, yeah, I'm gonna go beer on that one. It's McDavid all the way.
I'm gonna go beer, and the reason why I'm even posing this question because imagine if Matthews scores 50 and McDavid scores 100 points. It's sort of like, which one's more? The one that's been putting the puck in the net, the one's been getting other people to put the puck in the net. There are other factors that go into play with this because Matthews is going to be scoring 50 goals on a first-place team, and McDavid's going to have 100 points on a third-place team. And, oh, yeah, who won the Hart Trophy last year? Oh, that's right, his line mates. So I'm not sure if it's been different line mates to win the Hart Trophy since. Did the Sedins do it? I can't remember.
Last ones to do it broke up.
All right, Taylor Hall is the Bryce Harper of hockey.
Wow, I'm gonna buy everybody around on this one because it's starting to seem like it. And I hate to say it because of the fact that, I know he's been in some bad situations. Like, he dragged New Jersey on his back to the playoffs. The one thing I'll say is that Taylor Hall did not get the fanfare that Bryce Harper did as a prospect. Bryce Harper was supposed to be this generational player. He, if you follow baseball at all, Mike Trout got no fanfare as a prospect compared to what Bryce Harper got. And Mike Trout's the generational player. I don't want to blame Taylor Hall for everything because New Jersey's situation was just bad. They came there. He came there in 16-17. They were bad that year. Then he has that ridiculous stretch of 26 games, wins the MVP, drags them to the playoffs. And then the wheels fall off after that. Arizona just hasn't been a good team in a long time. And obviously Buffalo, like I said, is a 2-ton dumpster fire rolling down a San Francisco hill. So, I don't want to blame Hall, but it's starting to seem like that. So I'm gonna buy everybody around.
I'm gonna go beer only because I don't like. For instance, his time in Edmonton, where he spent the majority of his career. I mean that team was brutal. I don't think they did the right thing by him. They had the first overall pick, 3 years in a row, and the 2 years after him, they took forwards when I think maybe you could have made the case of taking a defenseman or someone that would have fit a little bit more. I think they went the BPA, best player available, where I don't necessarily that's always the case. But the point is, I think in Edmonton, he was put in a bad situation, and then in New Jersey. Like Filk said, he did have that year where he dragged New Jersey across the finish line in the playoffs. Arizona, he didn't have enough time there, sample size. He was only there for a little bit. And then Buffalo, just everything went wrong that you could possibly think of in Buffalo for him. He thought signing a 1-year deal, playing next to Eichel, he would have had personal success, would have cashed in, in the offseason. Definitely didn't go that way. Now he's paying for it, really. But I think he's a flawed player, but at the same time, I think he's proved that he has a first overall talent. What he did in New Jersey just shows it there. But I don't think he's the Bryce Harper of hockey though. Baseball.
He's got 2 goals this year. He's got 2 freaking goals. The Bruins were supposed to give up a first-round draft pick for him. Everybody talks about this guy like he's the first overall pick yesterday. This guy, he's 3 years removed from his MVP. I still don't see it ever, and he deserved the MVP when he got it, just like Harper did in 2015. I'm buying everybody around on this. Oh my God, he is the most overrated player in the NHL. We talk about underrated guys like Barkov or Huberdeau or Mika Rantanen, but I mean, oh my god, I don't like. People were making it seem like him going to Boston stealing a cup. No, that team is out in 5, and it's also a matter of, look at it this way: if you could get him on the Islanders right now, no salary cap, no nothing. You don't even have to give up anything. You could get him, or you can get Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac. Do you go back and renege on that deal? Your hesitancy says volumes.
Yeah.
And same thing, Filk. If you could throw him on the Rangers.
Hesitancy with Mr. Anthony LaRocco there.
Yeah, and Filk, same thing with the Rangers. I mean, if you can put him on the Rangers, no, you don't even have to pay him.
Well, what was the argument in our group chat? What argument did I present to you in the group chat about that?
I have to think about the 100 text messages.
All right, well, go back and I'll say it again then. If the Islanders do not make the equivalent of whatever the conference finals are this year, fans, media, they're all going to look back and say that Lou Lamoriello had a deal in place to get Taylor Hall, but chose to get Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac instead. So, I mean, he might get some heat for that. And that might be one of those moments where you can look at Lou and you could put him under a microscope. So, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if Taylor Hall was going to be a fit for Barry Trotz's system. I know I said that several times, but man, if the Islanders don't get to where they should get to, I mean, that's not a good look.
Yeah, I mean, it's again. I just look at him and I don't know. There's a plethora of players I'll take before him.
So the only 2 draft picks that were probably worse at first overall than him in these last 20 years are Yakupov and Nugent Hopkins for me, because Nugent Hopkins wouldn't have went first overall in any other draft in the last 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, jury's still out on Nico Hischier.
Jury's out.
And while we're at it, Nolan Patrick at that too. There's a lot of guys that we can kind of analyze and say, but Neil Yakupov, the Brian Burke worst interview I've ever had is always worth.
Yeah, that is great. Oh,
but we gotta press forward. We got 3 more, and then a dentist appointment. St. Louis is a playoff team. Filk.
They technically, I believe, are in a playoff spot right now. They are, yeah. It's funny because there were rumors about them moving Mike Hoffman to go get Taylor Hall, which actually would have probably been an upgrade, because I don't think either really is a great fit for that team. But I think Taylor Hall's speed and his higher offensive ceiling actually helps them more than Mike Hoffman does. But I think St. Louis is a playoff team. It depends on when Colton Parayko gets back, because that's the big piece that they're missing. He's probably their best or their second best defenseman. If you want to say Torrey Krug's their best defenseman, I'm okay with that. But yeah, I would say they're a playoff team, and I've said for a while that they get all their pieces back and healthy, they're a scary, scary team. So yeah, I'm going to say they're buy everybody around.
I'm going to say, buy everyone around. They're a playoff team. Let's face it, boys. They're ahead of Arizona. That's the team that's trying to catch them. They're a better team than the Coyotes. Let's face it. So, and anyone else below the Coyotes, I don't think are catching them. So, Yeah, I'm going to. Although, actually, San Jose blew a chance to, I think, only be behind 2 points on a playoff spot if they would have won last night and they lost, which is crazy because you think of San Jose and you just think of a bad team. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to say St. Louis is a playoff team just because of who's trailing them in the division. They got the talent, Ryan O'Reilly, Tarasenko is still starting to get back to himself. His shoulder's been, worked on a couple of times now, which if you're a Blues fan, that's a scary thing. But, their talent's there. I think Jordan Binnington had the comment like a week ago was saying, like, we're coming. Like, saying that they're going to get back to where they were. They're going to be in the playoffs and make noise and stuff. So, yeah, they're definitely a playoff team.
I think it also depends on the context of when you want to use the playoff team. Are they going to make the playoffs? Yes. Are they a playoff team? They're a -10 in goal differential.
That's true.
Putting it in a comparison, the New York Rangers are a +24, and they're not a playoff team. So it's, because of the division. They're only 2 years removed from the Stanley Cup, and Binnington can get it all back in a second. I'm gonna go with beer for them only because of using that context. I don't know if their pieces fit, and I'm not gonna sing the Tool song, John, but it's just it seems like Binnington had his run. Ryan O'Reilly was at the top of his game 2 years ago. Tarasenko was healthy. Everything fell into place, and now no Alex Pietrangelo. They're okay. It's sort of like with St. Louis. It's sort of like the game last night against the Colorado Avalanche with them. They went down 4-1, made a charge to make it 4-3, and came up short in the end. So we'll see about it, but I don't know. I don't know how good that team really is. We're going to find out about that. People are wrong for not talking about the Winnipeg Jets. And you know what? I'm going to start this one, boys. I'm going to say beer because they're second place in their division. They're let's get back that goal differential again because I always love that stat. They're a +24 goal differential. They're 5 points behind the Maple Leafs. And you know what? The only reason why we're not talking about them, they didn't make a move at the deadline. They're missing something. Yeah,
Jordy
Ben. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Why don't we just draft Eric Staal over again? Oh, by the way, 2003 draft. There was your third player that was moved from the 2003 draft.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like. Is it just me, or does it seem like something's missing in Winnipeg?
Top 6 winger, top 4 defenseman. They probably they have a top 3 goaltender in the league. If you want to say Vasilevsky's the best, if you want to say Hellebuck's the best, I think John Gibson's probably my other in the top 3. But they've got the goaltending. I would have, if I were them, I would have been harder in on David Savard. They should have went after him. That would have been the piece for them. I think they need another top 6 winger. I love their top 3, their 3 best wingers in Connor, Ehlers, and Blake Wheeler. 2 of the better wingers in the league in Connor and Wheeler, and Ehlers is a very good second line winger. But they've got the centers. They're a handful down the middle, and I believe Lowry's a center too. Mm-hmm. And another one with size, skating. I mean, aside from the obvious top 2 of Scheifele and Dubois, who are real good two-way centers, gritty, skilled, physical, intense. I mean, those are the guys you want going into the playoffs. So yeah, I'm gonna say buy everybody around because I think there should be more talk about it. I just think that the deadline really didn't do them any favors.
I'm gonna go beer, mostly because I think they're just lacking a little bit on defense. They added Jordy Ben. I know that's not who they wanted to add. I know they were tied to Matthias Ekholm for a while, but then obviously Nashville had the resurgence side not to move him. But I think that's the missing piece that's preventing them from being really like an upper echelon team. When you look at their defense as a whole, I don't really think it's that great. They do have the offensive talent to hurt you with Wheeler and Scheifele and Connor. It's Dubois. So they're good offensively. They got the great goaltending. but I just don't think they stack up defensively. I think when a team that has a really good offensive attack that they're going to face I know Toronto can hurt you bad too, and Edmonton has McDavid and Draisaitl, but if they, let's say, have to eventually meet a team like Colorado or Vegas, I'm not sure how their defense would hold up over time over a 7-game series.
Here's the thing. You have a really good prospect in Billy Heinola. Play him. See what he has.
Is he back? I know he was there originally. They've been playing him, or they've been healthy scratching him.
But he can play. It's just, I don't know why they're not playing him, but he can definitely play. I mean, even if you want to pair him with Ben, veteran defenseman that really needs a partner that could probably skate, move the puck for him. Play him with Ben.
All right, and this will probably be our last one, so we can get Anthony out of here, and unless we have some editorials. The NHL needs Vancouver to complete their season. Anthony.
I mean, I know I've seen on Twitter before that they were the NHLPA was going to have a call at the Canucks, and they were going to possibly, change their date of being a Friday of them going back to play based on like the medical doctors, what their opinion are. They've been at action for a little over 2 weeks now. They had that outbreak for sure, if that's what you want to call it, because it definitely was. But I thought the league did really well without them for 2 weeks, without having them on the schedule. They pivoted when they had to pivot. But yeah, I mean, they need them to finish the schedule despite that. I mean, you can't have one team, sitting for that long. And also, too, it's like they probably weren't going to make the playoffs anyway, but, they kind of skew the standings, too, when you have a team out of action for that long. So, I'm going to say they buy everyone around there. They do. But luckily for the league, it seems like they are going to get back to action. It may not happen tomorrow from what they were hoping, but I think they'll definitely be back in action by Monday, the latest, I would think.
I'm going to probably surprise people because people know like the way I was about this whole thing beforehand, but I'm going to say beer because you know what, honestly, what standings are you really skewing? I mean, I get it. It's for other teams more so than it is for them, but they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not a playoff team. They're not really going to affect anybody. If they are that much of contamination risk or risk for contamination, I should say, then I really don't see the need to try to push it. I mean, like you said, they did such a great job pivoting the schedule without having them for 2 weeks, which is really a testament to the NHL and the way that they handled it. So, I mean, I get it. If you want the standings to be complete, I mean, hopefully they're not pushing it and they're not doing things the wrong way. But apparently JT Miller was pretty outspoken about it, and yeah, kind of raised some concerns. So I'm probably gonna say beer, because if a player can come out and say that and really be convicted, and you got to remember, he's going to take a lot of heat for that. He's going to take heat. Like, there are going to be people that are going to be like, oh, hey, like, why are you going and saying this? And who knows the people at the top in the NHL, how they're going to react to that with him behind closed doors. So, I'm going to say beer.
And if you don't know the comment, we're going to put the comment on here. And it's, in a sense, we need more than one practice and a morning skate in order to be ready for a game after a 2-week layoff. So, that's exactly what the comment is. Unfortunately, you got to buy everybody around. They have to finish. We could argue the 4 games against Ottawa isn't that big of a deal, but they get Edmonton, Toronto, which could have ramifications for the division. They get Calgary 4 times. They do not play Montreal at all. Ergo, that might decide whether or not Calgary not only goes to the playoffs, but dismantles their team. So it's a big reason why other teams need them to finish. It's It's going to be. It's look. The first thing is first. Players' health is what matters, and we know where the priorities are. But if they can finish the season, they have to finish the season. Hell, the Buffalo Sabres are going to finish their season. Yeah, they had Corona too, but they also really, really wanted that season to be over March 15th. But it's just they got to do that because the question is how far is that going to go, and is that going to delay the playoffs? As of right now, they're scheduled for May 16th versus Calgary.
And when do they start?
Exactly. I think the playoffs might even start.
Because you could be delaying 3 teams from starting their playoff series. And that's a big, big problem. We've never had that.
Right. And that's why percentage points also matters more. So we are probably going to make this into 2 different videos because we had a lot to talk about today. How much were you drinking with us? And did you have a lot of confidence in whether or not Vancouver should finish their season? Is Igor Shesterkin going to get some Calder Trophy recognition? Did David Quinn make the right decisions if Barry Trotz didn't? I can't believe even posing that as a question still was a weird thing. And what do you think about Auston Matthews for the Hart Trophy? Throw it all in the comments below. And and speaking about Vancouver getting in, we actually got in that entire show.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.